Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today Ben and I talk everything NFL Week 9, all the one-score games, all the madness that happened this week. Is anybody actually good at the end here? Talking about some, Commanders takeaways at the end here with the recent news of the Jaden Daniels injury. And lastly, before we get you into the video, trade deadline reactions will be this Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time, live. Interact with us in the chat. And Tuesday, College Corner comes live to you. That's where we recap all the college football games. We preview all the upcoming slate. But this week, we get to talk about the college football playoff rankings. So if you're into college football or you're into, the trade reaction show this week, make sure to check it out. Come on over. If you enjoyed this recap video, it'd be much appreciated. But let's get you into the video. As you heard in the intro, it is once again Week 9 recap, joined by Ben. Ben, last week we talked about Week 9. We had 11 football games. One of those football games ended in a one-score game. This week, 9 of the 12 ended in a one-score affair. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to parody. So much to talk about. So much to get into. I believe this is kind of where we both thought to start. And no, we're not starting with Bills and Chiefs for the 10th time. By the way, I heard that on the broadcast and kind of shuddered. I was like, oh man. But talking about the NFC North just for a quick second here, and what the NFC North kind of looks like right now. Look at that tie by Green Bay. But you think about, we'll get into all the teams today, but just looking at right now what this shakes up to be, all of these teams within a game and a half of each other. The Vikings, ironically enough, have the best division record. We'll talk about it. And yeah, the Bears outside of the division are 5-1, 5-1 in their last 6. But I think the best way to start what NFC North game are you thinking you want to roll to as we kick on down this division?
I think we should probably start with the game that we saw the two powerhouses of the division face off against each other.
All right. Talking about the Vikings and the Lions, the Vikings pick up a major win. This is their first kind of profile win of the season, 27-24. J.J. McCarthy was back, and he looked really good. Just in comparison to what the Carson Wentz experience was.
Yes.
I was just so impressed by him. But for the most part, you're going to hear me like a broken record this show talk about it. But the defensive line came to play for this football team today. That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest selling point to me. I think we always talk about the Lions and how if you want to, go into the Lions' house and beat them, you need to hold them to what they did today. 20 carries for the Lions, 65 yards on the ground. They pressured Jared Goff a ton. He had 5 sacks in this game. Just a dominant defensive line performance from the Vikings.
Absolutely. And speaking of the defensive line there, it's funny because, all of the sacks and pressures that they were able to get on Jared Goff were coming from the not so big name guys on this team. Like Eric Wilson had 2 sacks for them, which bigger name, but it's not your Grenard or your I'm gonna blank on the other kid, the kid from Alabama, Dallas, Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner. It wasn't any of them. It was Javon Hargrave. It was Eric Wilson. It was Levi Rodriguez, and you're just like, whoa. these are not the names that we're used to, but I think it's because the Lions game plan was we will stop the edges, and they did a pretty good job doing that. But you allocate all those resources that it really allows everyone else to kind of eat into that. And I think the main reasons the Lions struggled this game has a lot to do with just the offensive line. They weren't really able to keep Goff upright, and they weren't really able to open up a lot of gaps for the running backs. The running backs struggled this game. For a Vikings defense through the first 8 weeks of the season that was one of the worst run defenses in the league, I mean, they kept this star running back tandem in check. I mean, they held them combined to 65 yards, given it was only 20 carries, but it was 65 yards with the longest rush being an 11-yard rush from David Montgomery's. And like, you can be excited about what Sam Laporta does and what Monroe St. Brown does. But this team kind of lives and dies by this running back duo. And if they weren't going to be able to get it started, along with being able to protect Jared Goff, you weren't going to really be able to win. That's why we saw the Vikings win this game. So,
yeah, I mean, just more on to the point of their rushing game. The Lions have, a 40-ish% success rate running the ball, which isn't, phenomenal by their standards, kind of dunked by this game a little bit. They had a 29% rushing success rate today, and the worst team in football is the Texans with a 32%. So you think about just the Vikings defensive line, a week after they're able to make Kamani Vidal look like Derrick Henry, they have the extra bye, they get their quarterback back, they're able to look the way that they did today and make one of the best rushing offenses look like statistically one of the worst. I think that was the most important thing today. And again, the Vikings solidify themselves still in this race, still a major uphill battle with how we've talked about the NFC as a whole. Like, I want to pull up the actual standings and where they shape in the actual, whole holistic view of the conference. But you think about, I mean, they're 10th, 4-4. Man, there's all 9 teams above them have 6 or 5 wins. That's crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean, just Minnesota being able to answer back, and then I think it would be remiss if we didn't just mention the McCarthy performance. He was fine. He put the ball in harm's way once, in quotations. I think that was kind of a Terry and Arnold, just like I said it. That was all dog. That was all dog. I'm taking that football from you. But just the way that this team was able to answer, and again, McCarthy was able to make 2 or 3 throws. He had some nice little comeback routes. He had some nice over-the-middle dig routes to Jefferson. He had the long bomb to Addison. I think those are all the most notable plays, and then Aaron Jones was really, really good in this one. But kicking it on to another part of the division, let's go to a division game where 89 points were scored, Ben. The Chicago Bears win an absolute thriller in which I've never, I mean, I shouldn't say never, but I've seen a team lose a football game before and then win it. Like, and that's what it felt like with the Bears today. Did you know the Bears had 4 different players throw a pass today? Don't see that often. They had the touchdown from DJ Moore to Caleb Williams, and Cole Kmet had a little lefty throw in there, and Tyson Bagent had a little screen pass to Caleb throughout this game. So I mean, they were we know Ben Johnson, he likes to have fun. But talk about the Colston Loveland breakout game, Michigan man.
I mean, a lot of it obviously is going to come down to that final, touchdown that they had, where the Vikings defense just didn't know how to like tackle. Like, I've seen some like really, really bad freeze frames of like when I think it was Jordan Battle, and I'm forgetting who the other one was, like collided on him.
Oh, Jordan Battle. Woof.
Woof. But again, I think of a lot of it comes from that one play. But I mean, Cole Kmet went out in this game, and Colston Loveland was able to capitalize on that and be like, hey, look, you guys, did invest a very high first round pick in me. Maybe I should, play like a very high first round pick should. And he finally did, given that, was against a team that has a whole bunch of people dressed up as NFL football players for Halloween on defense. I mean, that's what it looked like. And I can't even say it was just the Bengals. It was both teams. I mean, the Bears defense let a 40-year-old Joe Flacco have his like career game against them, which, like, what are we doing? And T. Higgins is just that guy. I mean, there were numerous times he's just bodying wide receivers for touchdowns. But hey, I'm glad that, the Bears were on the other side of it this time compared to the Hail Mary that happened last year. But again, it's some very, very bad defense, and I'm really interested to see what the Bears are going to do come 2 days from now at the trade deadline. If they try to plug a little bit of these holes, or if they're like, no, we want to hold on to these picks, because as you see, there are a lot of holes on that defense.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch that defense kind of construct itself. I thought I I watched this game and I was like, who's 35? He's kind of flying around the football. He's playing downhill fast. Oh, it's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Just
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't realize they activated to see him play, so I thought that was hilarious that I noticed him and instantly was like, I like what this guy's bringing, and it ended up being him. But I mean, just the Bears had the Bears had 576 offensive yards in this game. They had 283 on the ground, 7.6 yards per carry. DeAndre Swift, your days are numbered, buddy. Kyle Monungai was incredible today,
Yeah.
especially in between the tackles. I've always been skeptical of what like Dahlman is as a player. I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
capped out center, but like what he was able to do on just and what he's been able to do on, shifting this run game since the bye week, like what he does on the outside zone scheme really just connects all the layers together and really makes this a great run scheme that I enjoy to watch. Roma Dunze didn't catch a pass today. So that is
Continues
noticeable.
this like long cold streak too. Like,
Yeah.
given he had some dropped passes, in his own right, but like the first couple weeks of the season, we're like, whoa, this is Rome's year. And then
Yeah.
like the last like 3-4 games, you're like, ugh, he's kind of disappeared as Caleb is figuring it out more, which is kind of the reverse of what you're used to seeing when it comes to a young quarterback wide receiver connection.
Yeah. But I mean, you finish this game and you you look at the target volume. So Flacco threw the ball 47 times. 14 targets went to Chase Brown, 8 to Chase, and then Jamar Chase, and then 9 to T Higgins. You talked about T Higgins. He dunked on a corner today. I don't know remember who the corner was, but on that left boundary, he just dunked on him. And T Higgins on go balls is so fascinating. But the Bears get another win. The Bengals continue on to 3-6. Two teams going in opposite directions. You talked about the Bears. Could they possibly be buying 48 hours from now? I think the Bengals are a fascinating sell candidate 48 hours from now. So we'll see which direction either one of these teams go, and if they are major buyers or major sellers instead of kind of minimal moves. But we move on to the final NFC North team. The Green Bay Packers fall at home 16
It's
to
the
13.
jerseys.
I can't believe I called this the Super Bowl on the preview show, and I again, the Packers never fail to hurt me as someone who is not even like invested as like a fan.
Fan, yeah.
I just want to see this all come together once and for all. And then you like add the cherry on top. Oh yeah, Tucker Kraft like tore his ACL. Oh yeah, like the most fun and interesting player on this offense. Yeah, he's just done for the year now. That's sweet. They finally ran the ball well in this one. So
Yeah.
again, like that's been kind of their Achilles heel this season is they haven't been able, if they can't run the ball, they can't win the game. They had a 56% success rate in this one. And they had the fumble in the low red zone, so that really skews their EPA numbers. But yeah, red zone, 1 for 5, 1 for 5 in the red zone. A weird football game, and you take it. What did you see from this one?
Well, it's that same stuff, again, I remember texting you at halftime and being like, the Packers, they're struggling. You're like, They're one of, or I think we're like they're 0 of 3 in the red zone. Like that's an outlier number. It'll fix itself. um, well, no, it didn't. But to be frank, as much as we had spent time on the preview show 2 weeks ago and then a week ago on the Panthers, I mean, I think it is important to give them their flowers. The defense looked very good in this game. That being said, I do think it was probably just like one of those classic look ahead games that we've seen from the Packers once already in this season against the Browns, where they're like, this is an easy team. We're just going to look past it, and we're going to look at
And you
this
know what
point.
sucks about that? What sucks about that is like Matt LaFleur went to the podium this week and talked about like Halloween. I got to win a football game, guy. Like super football guy. Did you see any of that? Like
Yes,
where he's like football hard. I don't care about Halloween. We're trying to win a football game. Then like play call like
Trying.
it, buddy. Swing screen
Trying.
on 3rd and 3. I couldn't believe my eyes.
No, it was it was just bad. It was just bad. Again, it's one of those interesting subplots of the season with the Packers. Like, run game was an issue, as you said. They were able to figure it out. Now, can they figure out how to convert in the red zone and convert on third downs? Because it's something that they haven't really been able to do all season long. And is this going to be like hey, we figured it out, past the mid mark of the season? Is this just going to be something that's going to plague us all season long? Because if it's going to plague you all season long, you're going to lose games to the Panthers. So we'll see if they can figure it out. But it's definitely going to be much harder to figure it out when Tucker Kraft is out for the season.
Yeah. I also want to give just a quick shout out to Rico Dowdle Mania. Like this guy he had more rush yards. He had more rush yards and carries than Bryce Young had passing yards and attempts. So you just think about it, like this is how they wanted to lean. I mean, game script helps you out, and like also I have to admit, the Jordan Love interception is just like hilarious. Like he just has one of those a game, and that's what everybody who doesn't watch the Packers week to week sees, and it's just like, oh, this guy sucks.
Well,
and
he almost had a second one.
I'm like, no, guys.
Second one.
He just does this. All right. He gets the ghost of number 4 in Lambeau Field. It happens. All right. Like everybody, like calm down. But back to the Panthers. It's just I again don't feel like excited about the quarterback, but like I like their offense. Their offense is pretty fun. The run game continues to be just a machine, and they lose all these players. Like I think they lost Cade Mays this week, who's their backup center, and they're still able to have an efficient performance like this from Rico Dowdle, and he completely takes the starting running back spot in this one. But yeah, I mean the Panthers are 5-4. Week too early, guys. Week too early. But this is also. I will keep in mind that Tucker Kraft going down means the Luke Musgrave agenda is back. So everybody watch out for Luke Musgrave when he takes over the NFL. But for the NFC North, we'll go to the AFC North and what the Steelers were able to do. 6 turnovers forced by the Steelers today. The Colts had 4 in 8 games to start the season. The Colts finally faced a real defensive line, folks, and also the little subtlety of like J.J. Watt calling T.J. Watt fumbles, pretty electric. I was having a lot of fun with him on the call. I really like J.J. Watt as an announcer, by the way. Him and Ian Eagle have a great dynamic, but just the story of this game is what the Pittsburgh defensive line was just able to do for 3 quarters, and yeah. The Pittsburgh offense is enough to pick up the pieces and win the game. Like, again, I'm not going to say nice things about an offense that wasn't very efficient or explosive. So, sorry, sue me. But overall, that defensive line being able to create the turn, they won in a Pittsburgh way today. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the way that like Steelers and Mike Tomlin specifically just want to grind it out and just force you into pressure. And man, I think they factory reset Daniel Jones. And I'm interested to see if this is just like like a little blip on the radar, like boop, okay, it was just the one game. Now back to the Daniel Jones we've seen for the rest of the season, or if this is like, oh no, like we've seen this from Daniel Jones, and maybe he's coming back down to earth, because it was an awful Daniel Jones game. 3 interceptions, with another 3 fumbles.
Yep.
Again, a lot of that due to just the offensive line being able to, or the defensive line being able to turn the corner and swipe at that football as he's trying to throw it out. But again, there are just clips where he just looks like terrified out of the football field. Like he just doesn't want to like snap the football again, kind of back to what it was in like the Giants day. So I'm just, again, interested to see if this is gonna now start being a little bit of a long-term thing. And when he starts, facing these high-end defensive lines with like, even just like the little, Daniel Jones in the back of his head saying like, oh, watch out, and forcing him to do stupid stuff, even if there's not pressure. So I'm just interested to see what the long-term ramifications are for this. And then also I'm not surprised that they lose this game, because Jonathan Taylor's kind of the engine. As much as we want to talk about, Daniel Jones being great, Jonathan Taylor is kind of the engine of this offense. And just due to circumstance, they just weren't really able to get him going. He had 14 carries on 45 yards. And if you can't get him going, then you need a Daniel Jones game. And again, we've just talked about it. You were not getting a Daniel Jones game this week. It was just a really, really bad offense in totality for the Colts today.
Yeah, I just want to make mention too of like what the Steelers did on defense today that I was just very impressed by. So Jalen Ramsey ended up. This is from an NFL Pro. Jalen Ramsey ended up aligning at safety 83% of his snaps today. He had never had a game over 30% before. They use split safety coverage on 46% of their dropbacks, going into the week at 28%. Kyle Duggar played 72 snaps today. So 97% of the snaps, like less than a week after getting traded from a team that like pretty much benched him in New England.
Yeah.
And why, like JJ Watt on the call talked about it, like how they were talking about simplifying. Everybody is just downhill. Everybody is attacking. The way and everybody embodied it. The edge rushers, they saw something with these tackles that they wanted to dip the corner as much as possible because it forces Daniel Jones to step up in the pocket, and he kind of gets erratic stepping up into that interior pressure. It was just a great plan all along, and for a defense that I was completely like, I think they have good players, but might not be the year. They just live and die by these principles, and you have a game against Green Bay. For them to literally, like, like the crime scene shows where they walk in and, like, wipe everything off the desk. All right, we're resetting, folks. Like, Mike Tomlin walked in the defensive coordinator's room, and was like, all right, scratch everything. We're building a new plane. We're building a new, prototype. Let's do something different. We're going to make a one-game plan against the Indianapolis Colts, and it worked phenomenally. And again, it's why the Steelers, as much as we like to make jokes, and oh man, they can't keep getting away with these 9 wins, and the offense isn't fun. They just keep winning these games, and they're really good at it. And so, tip the cap to them for this one. But we get into the final one before we take a little mini break. The Bills beat the Chiefs in the rematch. Jim Nantz called it the rematch a few times, and every time I'm like, the 10th time deserves a rematch?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if like two boxers fought each other 10 times? That'd be funny to think about. But still, the Bills again win in the regular season, as they do, 5-1. Josh Allen is 5-1 against Mahomes in the regular season, and none of it matters because he's 0-4 in the postseason. Didn't want to be that guy, Buffalo. But they get a well-deserved win. I thought they ran the ball really, really well. James Cook, I know before the season when James Cook kind of signed that extension, I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, this is kind of a good vibe signing. He's kind of taken a level up a little bit to me.
Yes.
And I think he's been an even better player than what I assumed when he signed that contract. So him being able to be what he was Allen was uber efficient, but what that defensive line was able to do against Mahomes today. Mahomes is held to his lowest completion percentage ever in a game, at 15 for 34. They were Hollywood Brown was like the only really explosive part, along with like a Rashee Rice 4th and 17 I saw. But overall, man, it was the Bills' day today.
Yes, absolutely. They had Patrick Mahomes in hell, and then it was a bad
Josh
running
Simmons,
back.
come back, dude. Come
That's
back. Jalen
okay.
Moore is like fine, but
That's exactly where my head. That's something that I don't think we've talked about like at all on the podcast.
enough.
Is Josh Simmons?
Because it's been fine,
Um,
because it's been passable. You've been facing, Vegas, and you've been facing Washington. Like,
you
you
know,
get into a high leverage game on the road against Buffalo, Jalen Moore can get picked on.
yeah. It just for those who don't know, which is all of us, there's something happening in Josh Simmons' life that is he's stepped away from the football team for at least a little bit. I think there are plans for him to come back soon, but there's not a whole lot of information as to like why he's not playing football. Again, all for personal reasons. But yeah, you felt it. You felt it today, not having Josh Simmons, because when he did play early on in the season, he looked really, really good. Um, and you felt it today because they just were not able to keep Patrick Mahomes upright in the pocket and give him any sense of time to be able to throw the football. And then you mix that with, again, an already struggling run game. That's where it gets really, really rough. And, I said it in kind of the preview episode that, like, this could be a get right game for the Chiefs run game because how bad the Bills have been defending the run. And nope, they weren't able to do that at all. Like they desperately need to go out and trade for someone, whether it's a Tony Pollard or even someone of like a bigger name like Breece Hall, which would make my stomach turn. But they need to trade for someone who can actually offer some explosion out of that backfield. And then obviously paired up with the Josh Simmons. Hopefully that gets the run game up and going. But it was a bad offensive game for the Chiefs in totality today. And flip side of that too, Bills, can we translate this to the postseason? Like, you beat them 5 times in a row. Fantastic. Everyone saw it coming. This is your like yearly, we beat you in the regular season.
Yeah.
We're going to lose to you in the postseason. Can this be the year finally where we don't see that? Only time will tell.
You know what the best thing about this game is they didn't show a lot of like Josh Allen like keeper stuff. They didn't have
Yeah.
to dig into the bag of like him running the football in this one. So I think keeping those in your back pocket because I mean Buffalo operates like the city, the team, everybody operates the same way where it's like this is the team you're trying to beat every year. So like when they make moves, it's like, well, how does this affect us beating the Kansas City Chiefs? And yeah, it worked out today. Also, want to give a shout out to Cole Bishop. He was everywhere today.
Yes.
He was phenomenal.
Flying everywhere.
He was attacking the catch point. He was downfield, and then another little one to Maxwell Hairston. So this was one of his first games of the season, if not his first. Again, I talk about the matching Chiefs personnel. They drafted him because he runs 4.2 and he can keep up with Xavier Worthy in those those quarters looks. And he did multiple times today. And so him being able to inject some of that energy and inject some of, that ability to this defense is just another tip in the cap for Buffalo. It's just another thing to have. Hopefully, as we all said, hopefully it translates when it is needed. And I love this is also like they're 6-2, Chiefs are 5-4. If you're Buffalo, you're just thinking about. I know it's like a mighty thing to think about because it's a lot of wins, but like if you go 7-2, you never have to go into Arrowhead. Like even if the Chiefs go undefeated the rest of the year, 9-0, if they go 7-2, they still have the Dolphins again. They still have Still have the Jets again. You think about the schedule that they have presented. They never have to go into Arrowhead. And so, like, I think that is something that will really help this fan base and juvenile, this team. It's like, well, we got the tiebreaker, so let's just tie with them. Let's just get there.
Yes.
But yeah, another Buffalo win over Kansas City. When we come back, we will talk about the rest of the games from the weekend. Some entertaining finishes. The Jaguars pick up
Oh,
another
yeah.
win. The Texans and Broncos played football today. Yeah, that happened.
They did. They did.
But, yep, let's take a quick break. Time out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. It really, really helps us out. It helps push out the algorithm to so many different new fans of the channel. But I'll let you get back to the video. And we are back, chat, talking the rest of everything that happened in NFL Week 9. We have a ton. We have 7 games to get to, Ben. Is there one place you would want to start?
Yeah, no, I feel like we need to start at the Jaguars Raiders just because of the finish of that game.
All right. The Jaguars take down the Las Vegas Raiders 30-29. It goes to overtime. Both teams had like awesome returns at the end of this
Yes.
game to
Yeah.
set up good field position. This was an awesome, you look at the fourth quarter stats, obviously. Exciting finish. You have the 2-point conversion for the game, but I thought my biggest takeaway is, it's good to see Brock Bowers back.
Yeah, and absolutely. He took over this game. I mean, like we could look at Geno and be like, oh yay, Geno for passing touchdowns. Look at him. He was fantastic. We finally is starting to see a glimpse of what we would have hoped. And then you're like, oh wait, 3 of those touchdowns were to Brock Bowers, and like half of his yards were just because of Brock Bowers and like the special things that he can do as a tight end. And he again like absolutely took over this game, and he made it as close as what it was. And again, it's just one of those situations that we've talked about so much going into the season where like your quarterback remembers like, oh wait, I can just throw at this guy and good things will happen. And the fourth quarter shows that. Like if for both teams, it just took such a long time for anything to get going. And then Gino was like, yes, I can throw at Brock Bowers. He is good at football. But again, this game went into OT, as you guys see here. The Raiders went for it, and I props to Pete Carroll. Like I'm glad
You
Pete
have
Carroll
to go
was.
for it.
You have
to go for that.
You absolutely. There was like 12 seconds left in overtime, and they just scored a touchdown. And they're like, "Well, do we settle for the tie or do we go for it?" And goes back to when will Pete Carroll learn? I don't knock him for not running the football. There are a lot of people that are like upset. They were like, "How can you not run the football? Did you not learn from the Patriots game, 10 years ago?" And I'm like, okay, I promise it's not that serious. Especially with
That's
the
people
game.
just wanting to be angry at a decision because
Yes,
watching this goal to goat offense run like actual like run scheme on the 1 yard, like they tried to in this game and they got stuffed twice.
yes, it did. It did not work at all. But again, it was a fun game to watch. It was a game that just had gotten like relegated, and then like the fourth
Yeah.
quarter happens, and you're like, wait, like these two teams are playing each other, and it is a tight game, and it's gonna come down to the wire. That's exactly what we got. And Brian Thomas Jr. Yay, yeah, he
No,
looked
no,
kind
no.
of
Parker Washington
Parker Washington, but Brian
from
Thomas
the
Jr.
illustrious Penn State receiving corps.
Yes, but they both looked good with Travis Hunter out. I think when we recorded the
Yeah, that was
preview,
like Friday or Saturday he went to IR, so
yeah,
no
he
talking points on that on this show yet.
yeah, we didn't talk about that, and I was really worried about like what this offense was going to look without him. But again, I would have thought it was going to be Brian Thomas Jr. that stepped up, but as Matt astutely pointed out, it was actually Parker Washington, which is it's funny. I guess bring back Daniel Jones, and we'll see Brian Thomas Jr. Pop off.
Yeah, I just running through some numbers here. Like the
Or Mac Jones.
Jaguars,
Gosh darn it. Anyway, sorry.
the Jaguars had 42 total like attempts in this game. They had a
Mhm.
61% success rate running the ball. The Jaguars running the football from last year to this year is again one of the revelations of the season. But their pass game has not been great. Come on,
Yeah.
Lawrence, what are we doing? But and then the Raiders on the opposite side, they had a 61% passing success rate. Uh, Brock Bowers had all three of his touchdown passes come on man coverage. So just a little astutely pointed out, and again, like man coverage is run a lot in the low red zone. That's where he got most of his touchdowns. But still, uh, just being able to have Bowers out there, I think we think about the quarterback that Geno is. He is an ambitious downfield and intermediate passer. That's exactly what Brock Bowers like presents because he presents matchup nightmares against the linebackers over the middle of the field. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that he was really, really good when he had that opportunity. Uh, Wonder what the status of Jacoby Myers is. He played the full game today. Tyler Lockett ran a route today. I saw
It
number
was fun.
17 and I said, I know who that guy is. I know who that is. But still, this was a fun football game. You mentioned it, and good to astutely point out what happened today. And the team with the higher record wins. So again, just another tip of the feather in the cap for Jacksonville as they continue to try and make pace. They still have both of their games against the Colts really late in the year. So hey, we could start talking about that. And the Jaguars maybe knocking on the door of the division. Who knows if this team reverts? But we'll move on to kind of what I teased. The Broncos and Texans, 18-15. The Texans scored all 15 points on field goals today. C.J. Stroud is knocked out of this game. That one was a major bummer. The Broncos offense, no, it is not fixed, nor is it exciting to watch. Exciting.
It's
Fun to watch.
exciting.
But God, I just for a 7-win football team, 7-2 football team, for it to look, and they're also on a 6-game win streak, by the way. For it to
Mhm.
still like look this like kind of just cookie cutter and all these pieces they just don't flow right. They just don't flow right. I don't know what it is. Uh,
Yeah.
RJ Harvey's the leading like receiver today. Like okay, but yeah, Davis Mills plays most of this game. They didn't get in the end zone. It was exactly what I thought it would be. Ben, do you have anything on this one?
Yeah, someone needs to teach CJ Stroud how to properly slide. That was
Yeah, that
ridiculous.
was.
It was bad. If he would have just slid normally, he would have been fine. But he did this weird like stutter step into a fall, which then it was a clean hit. It's shoulder pad, but it was the head that bounced off the turf, which caused the. I'm no doctor. I'll call it a
Yeah.
pseudo fencing response. Not quite that response that we're used to out of Tua, but like he definitely like tightened up, especially in the hands, which is just gnarly to see. Anytime you see that, you're just like, ugh. But he was able to stand up. He walked off on his own power into the off the field into the medical room and stuff. But it's a game that you would have thought when you see how the state of the Broncos offense is against the Texans defense, and then considering Davis Mills also played in this football game. But again, if every trip you go down to the red zone results in a field goal, regardless of who the quarterback is going to be, you're not going to win the football game. On the flip side of that, the Broncos, they're finally utilizing Bo Nix's legs the way that I asked them to. And because of that, they were able to win this game. Bo Nix had two kind of big yardage scrambles on that final drive that set
Yep.
them up for a pretty easy chip shot field goal for Will Lutz to walk it off, which was good. But again, this offense continues to not congeal the way that you want them to. And again, I'm going to say it for half the teams. Interested to see if they do anything at the deadline to help with that, because the defense is there. We just need to figure out what the heck we're going to do on the offense.
Yeah, I mean Broncos offense. I mean I'm a caricature of myself, but Bo Nix had 10 attempts beyond 20 yards in this game. And he had, what is this? He had like 8 or 9 at the line of scrimmage. So you just think
Mhm.
about that. Half of his attempts are coming either at the line of scrimmage or all the way downfield. He finished 2 for 10 with an interception on those deep passes, as I mentioned. But the 2 completions, they were touchdowns. So
Ah.
in a game where the other team doesn't score a single touchdown, there you go. That is the difference. Uh, Derek Stingley was awesome in this one. Every time, like him and Sutton going at each other, I thought was fun. Just because
Yeah.
Stingley is, he's just a sticky cover guy, and shorter guy could get dunked on by the archetype that is Sutton. He hung in there. He made some great plays. But overall, Denver gets another win. Also, final stat: the Texans finished with a success rate of 29% overall. Broncos finished with a 32% overall success rate. The lowest success
There
rate in
you go.
football right now is the Cleveland Browns at 35%. So both of those offenses were statistically worse than the 2025 Cleveland Browns. But both of these two defenses are
Ugh.
top 2 in success rate. So
Yes.
there you go. It was a great defensive showdown, and it was exactly as advertised. Denver 4-0 when trailing going into the fourth quarter. That's kind of crazy. That's
Uh,
I
uh,
don't know. They might be the fake team of the year. They might
I
be.
think they're definitely the fake team of the year.
If we have an award for who is the fakest team in football, I think it would be the the Denver Broncos. You know who's not fake? Drake May. Drake May picks up another win. He's 7-2 now. No, the New England Patriots are. I know. They're not the New England Drake Mays as much as
They
they
are.
didn't.
No, they are.
My petitions, our petitions at this the Pigskin Project have not gone well, but they win again. This was another one of those games that I was really just under the radar, excited to see how it goes
Mm,
because New England's offensive line is really gettable, and Drake May takes a lot of sacks. He took 6 in this game. The
yes.
interception came on pretty bad pressure, but again, he's able to hit the Pop Douglas like explosive yard touchdown. They're able to, funnel enough of a run game, and Parker Romo is able to miss an extra point by Atlanta, and that's how New England wins this football game pretty much in the second half. New England had 3 second half points, so again, not a second half performance to write home about. But I mean, overall, they find a way. Also, shout out Drake London. It's the
Yes.
day is
Well,
Drake's.
it was the same way that we were talking about Brock Bauer and Gino. This is exactly how it felt with
Somebody
you
has
know
Drake London and Brock Bowers on their team right now in fantasy football.
that'd
They're
be
like two and
crazy.
six.
Yeah, they're 2-6. But I mean, the same way that we had talked about that with Gino and Brock Bauer, that's the same way that we're going to talk about this with Penix and Drake London. It was just like, all right, where's Drake London at? Okay, we found him with the football. It doesn't matter who was guarding him. Like even when it was a big press bodied
And if
guy,
it
like
wasn't that, it was like, all right, I'm going to the flat. Bijan. Where's Bijan?
exactly. But it didn't matter like who was guarding him. Like even if it was like your bigger press man guy like Gonzo, he was still able to do it. Like he bodied Christian Gonzalez at one
He
point in
dunked
this
on
game.
him. I think it was
It
that
was
touchdown drive.
yes, it was crazy. Again, the Patriots really, really, really tried to give this away to the Falcons here at the end, only putting up 3 points. But the Fighting Drake Mays, they continue. We're happy for it. And then flip side of that, we're like finally like Travion Henderson game, and we had joked like, oh, who's gonna take it away from Travion Henderson? And you're like, Terrell Jennings. Yeah, he did. I mean, Travion Henderson did have the majority of the carries, but it was
Yeah.
pretty evenly split. 14 for him, 11 for Terrell Jennings, and Terrell Jennings stole the touchdown from him too, which just made it
Yeah.
like little cherry on top of it all. Like it's just gonna continue to be like, when are we gonna just let him get the lion's share of the touches? I don't know if it'll ever happen at this point. If it didn't happen in this game, I don't know if it's going to
I
ever.
think maybe hot take. I know, but I think 18 touches, 4 catches with the 14 carry. I think that's good. He didn't extremely take over the game in a way that, but I always thought like the 12 to 15 range is good for him.
That's
The
what you would, yeah.
the one is egregious. Like a few weeks ago he had one. Like that's a problem. Like even if you don't trust him, maybe give him like 6 or 7 just because it is against the Titans. Yes. Yes, I set that up. I set that up perfectly. But like it's against the Titans, so again, like you can kind of like, oh, it's JV football team. Let's get them some run. Sorry, Titans fans. I know. I'm a Saints fan, so like we can laugh in despair. December 28th. But just overall, being able to have him kind of flash enough in this game. Like he wasn't he the what was it? The screen pass that I think went for like 20-ish yards. It's like that's what you want. Just get him in space and give him that 12 carry mark. I'm good with the carries overall. The carries
I mean,
discourse on Travion Henderson. The unleashed Travion
it,
Henderson discourse
it's
kind of
it,
makes me
it,
chuckle.
it's tough because both of us known draft guys. What can I say? But like that's when you had watched him, that's what you would have thought. Like you draft him knowing that he's
Yeah.
not going to get 20 carries in a game. But then you turn around and you spend out a very high second round pick, and you want to get your value worth for that
Yeah.
high second round pick. But then you draft a guy that you know you're not giving 20 touches to in a game. So it's just I don't know, it's tough, but again, well, this will not be the last time we talk about it this season.
No, I mean we're just gonna continue to pepper the Patriots on these shows. Uh,
Yes.
you talked about London. London matched up against Christian Gonzalez in this game 16 times. He finished with 3 catches, 7 targets, 67 yards, including that 40-yard down the left sideline play. Just another awesome game. And Drake May, this is another NFL pro, became the 4th quarterback in NFL history to record 200-plus passing yards and a 100-plus passer rating in 8 consecutive games within a season. So he just continues to march on with these ridiculous stats with a Patriots jersey on that not even the guy prior to him was like really doing. So, or two guys prior to him. But we move
Yeah.
on to staying in the noon slate. I think hitting on some games that, I mean, these were kind of back of the, they were on the TVs, but they weren't really focal points. The Chargers beat the Titans today. I do want to make, obviously, because I have to, because of the Titans, the DK, Ayu Manor, Gunnar Helm, pretty awesome, like, day 3 haul when you think about it now. Like, watching
Yeah.
these guys play football, I think they got 3 professional players. I don't think any of them are number 1 receiving pass catchers. Like, I would
No.
still, no doubt about it, drop a Jordan Tyson in April on this football team. I would still think about a top 40 guy if you want to take, a defensive player. Probably won't go defensive player. You probably just pepper every resource you can into making sure Cam Ward is good. But still, I think they got 3 good players. DK has the punt return. They have a pick 6 in this one. The offense still only scores 6 points. So again, like this is getting to a point where I'm not angry, Cam Ward, but I do want to see a little bit more. Like I still am. I get he's going through a pretty tumultuous rookie season, but still,
Yes.
like it just, I want to see it for a full 4 quarters, just click, and I don't want to believe that that's too much to ask.
No, I agree. And the 2 fumbles, it hurt as
Yes,
well. Like it really, really hurts. I understand that you were able to get them both, but it stalls out the drive. Like again, you were able to jump on them, no worries. It's not like you end up losing the ball or whatnot.
they're
But
1 for 9 on 3rd downs in this game.
it's
It's
bad.
just, yeah.
It hurts. You continue to just set yourself up for failure on plays like that. The flip side of that, Joe Alt, I mean, a little bit of a sigh of relief. He went out. You were worried like he couldn't
Was
walk
there a
on it.
report on what it is?
High ankle sprain. So
Another
not
one.
like not like fantastic, not great, but not bad. It's not bad. because when it had first happened, you started like really bad stuff started rushing in the head, like Achilles, ACL, like season-ending stuff, and then it's just a high ankle sprain. I don't want to say just high ankle sprain because it can keep you out 4 or 5 weeks, as we have seen.
And you saw what it looked like without him. Like, I think that's
Yeah,
the most important part. It was like we've seen hell itself. All right, we don't want to go back.
exactly. So I am glad to see that he is okay. And again, the defense, they looked good. They showed some fight, and I'm glad that they showed some fight. Again, it's weird to say that in a game where they let up 27 points, but low bar here for the Titans is kind of what I'm trying to say.
It really is. I mean, yeah, but it's just I'm excited to see. I can't see him right now on NFL Pro, but the pressure numbers when Alt left the game in this one, like you think about Jihad Ward, like Jihad Ward's been around a long time. How many times do you think he's had 8 pressures and 2.5 sacks in a game ever?
Probably never.
So like that's kind of what was happening with that Chargers offensive line. Like Draymond Jones had a 23% pressure rate by himself. He had 1.5 sacks. So like again, sometimes like he's able to put on the cape talking about Justin Herbert again. Herbert is able to put on the cape once again and kind of, muscle this up, and he has some of the explosives in the ground game, but overall it's just not going to be enough for the entire season. And if we revert back and now Joe Alt's gone again, I'm just going to get back to I'm just going to go sit in the corner again and sit in my hands and say, I have no opinion on this team until Joe Alt is back again. I don't think they're good enough to really win anything or win these big games without him, but with him, it's pretty good. So,
yes.
Also, Rondé Gadsden. If I'm talking about some day 3 rookies, Rondé Gadsden, dude. Like, that's a guy.
Gosh.
That's a guy. He had a cover 2 beater early in this game when I was kind of focused on it because it was kind of like this. Whoa! The Titans are scoring. I'm kind of entertained by this. So, but he had a nice little cover 2 beater early in the game. But he's the leading receiver once again. But then we move on to the Niners and the Giants. Mac Jones at one point started, I think, 14 for 14. That ended with an Abdul Carter interception. It was like a tip at the line of scrimmage. So that was how that nightmare ended, I guess. Nightmare, dream, however you want to classify it. But the Niners win this game. I don't have much takeaway. I think all of the other games had my attention, to be honest with you. Overall, every time I looked over, Jackson Dart was doing something where he was just running around. He had one play late in this game, like uber late in this game. Like, this really shows you. But like it was like a 3rd and 10 scramble down by 17, and he's taken like 3 hits to go and get the first down in a 3 possession game with 2 minutes left. Like, he's a hilarious guy. I like watching him play. He's fun to watch, but again, how much of it is actually real, I don't know. We'll figure out along the way. There's still more to come, but the Niners get a win looking ahead to the Rams.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll get the win. That's what matters. Injuries are going to continue to haunt this 49ers team. Again, they're able to keep everything afloat here. But let me see if I'm not wrong before I just start speaking out of nowhere. But I'm pretty sure Mikal Williams is out for the season with a torn ACL.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What?
I'm late. Like, it happened late in this game.
Oh my goodness.
let me check.
I'm not laughing at Niners fans. I'm laughing in shock of that. Like, dude, they can't catch anything.
Yep, torn ACL. Yep.
Dude.
It happened on the MetLife grass, so shocker, continue to chalk it up to just being like, what are we doing, MetLife? Come on.
All right. Next man up, or the next man up in San Francisco land.
Yes, it happened late in the game too. There's 4 or 5 minutes left where this ended up happening. It's just I understand you can have like these great games and great schemes, but at a certain point, you can only take so many injuries, especially on that defensive side of the football, where it's just like, we can't do this anymore. We just don't have enough warm bodies to continue to compete. But again, you got the win today. You continue to hope that, Brock Purdy comes back, even with Mac Jones looking good. We'll just see the toll that, the injuries take on this team. And we're only halfway through the season. And I don't want to be like that guy, but injuries will continue to happen no matter what, no matter who it is. And just how much longer can they sustain this before they really start getting affected by the defense? Because they've done a relatively good job losing Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and being able to stop. But again, at a certain point, you can't plug the gaps. So
Yeah, like it's weird, man. I don't know because you could sit here and tell me it's like, well, we have to buy because we just, like you said, we need enough warm bodies to get us through the season, and we're 6-3. This isn't
yeah,
like we'll talk about Washington and what happened there, but like they're 6-3 and still like in the wild card hunt. They're still well in the division hunt. Like if they face the Rams next weekend, they beat the Rams, man. Like they sweep the Rams. So you think about that and all that entails with that. Like wonder what this team does 48 hours. If there is a little mini like, hey, let's just get a guy who's played football before in the room. I don't know where you're going to find that. They'll find it faster than I can, but just interesting. Again, just making note. Hey, trade deadline reactions will be this week, guys. Make sure to come on to the live show. But uh, you know, good tease. Also, by the way, we didn't mention it. The Jags kicker broke the record. I wanted. I
oh
know
yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
throwing that in the
68
Niners
yards.
and Giants. Sorry, Jags fans, forgot about that. A lot of stuff was going on, but hey, 68 yarder. He cleared it pretty well. I was kind of hoping he would miss the actual like kick to tie it
That would
and
have
go to
been funny.
overtime.
Yeah,
I root for funniness sometimes. No,
yeah.
like no ill intent to anybody, but I just root for funny. But he
Which
made it.
it
Really good.
would be on par too. He has struggled. He has struggled this season. So it would have been like on par for him to make that kick and then turn around and miss the overtime kick or the kick to take them into overtime. But hey, maybe all he needed to see was a 68 yarder to go through for that confidence to go up.
And then one final game. We talked about the Rams before we get into the Sunday Night Football one. Uh, this was a game that happened. Everybody. Hope
Do we have to
everyone.
talk about it?
Hope everyone had fun. No, but Saturday was great for me. So I wasn't affected by this game at all. I wanted to say this. I wanted the Saints offense to look different. If you're putting in Shuck, I wanted them to utilize what he does well, and you kind of put him under center. You can put him in heavy sets, and you can really rip the ball over the middle of the field. The offense didn't feel different. I didn't like that. And this one, I saw a lot of like, this one's on Kellen Moore. Maybe, I guess. I can get the understanding, like, anger by the play calls. The defense was really, really poor in this one. The Rams at one time had a 76% dropback success rate, which is like 20% higher than, MVP Mahomes. So, yeah, I wasn't a fan of what the defense presented today. Matt Stafford walked all up and down the field. Uh, the offense could not run the football. Again, it is what it is. The Saints season is kind of in the gutter. I don't really have to spend too much time on this team, but it was just a deflating like, hey, you remember when this wasn't like embarrassing for almost 2 months, and
No.
then you put in a quarterback who's like, it makes it look embarrassing, not at his own fault. Like I guess this is kind of the Seattle game to me. Maybe this is Seattle game. I'm talking myself into it. Let's see more football before I just completely kill him. Like they play Carolina this week, who, Carolina gets a big win, but just overall, the Rams are really, really good. Rams fans. I'm
Yes.
skipping over them. Jared versus awesome. He killed Fuaga most of the game. But the Saints offense just kind of reverting a little bit made me a little disappointed because this was the one time where I was like, I think Spencer Rattler should still be playing football. Even if the 40th overall pick is Tyler Shuck, if you were getting this production out of the 40th overall pick with Spencer Rattler, you would keep him in. And so I get it.
I push back because
I know.
You're
done this. We've done this.
We've done this. This, to put it simply, you spent the 40th overall pick on him. You at least want to see what you can get. I mean,
you need games. You need sample size.
That's what I was gonna say. If you weren't gonna win with Rattler, at least see what you have with the other kid. But again, I don't think there could be many takeaways. The Saints looked like a 1-8 football team that was starting a rookie quarterback, and a rookie quarterback in his first start. That's all that needs to be said when you look at the box score. Again, it's the way that you would expect this game to go. And again, it was funny because at halftime I was loading up a couple different bets for the Rams running backs because I'm like, we're reading the game script, but it just kept coming. The onslaught through the air just kept on coming. There was just nothing the Saints could do to stop Matt Stafford. It was ridiculous. Matt Stafford, 39 years old, is looking like an MVP candidate still. It's crazy.
Brother still got it. He still got it. I want to find the exact tweet. Or no, I could just find it in like a box score setting. But the Saints' time of possession today finished out at 16 minutes and 7 seconds. So you think about a quarter, it's 15 minutes. That's how long they had the football today. And that is the 13th lowest in any game under the 60-minute era. Crazy to think about, but that is true. The Rams just dominated in every sense of it. Like this is what a Super Bowl candidate can look like against one of, if not the worst football team in the entire league. Sometimes it happens. Yeah. But we move on to Carolina, and we move on to Sunday Night Football. Seattle 38, Commanders 14. Ben, I didn't watch a lick of this game, but from what I read and some, I will say I saw some clips of Darnold the throwback uniforms were good today, but yeah, it looked like what it's been. A lot of heavy set personnel, get it blocked up, throw it downfield. Darnold's been incredible downfield, and then Jaden Daniels leaves late with a elbow injury of some sort, something dislocated, something bad on the non-throwing arm.
On the non-throwing, you could see that. You can find the video. It is just awful. He puts his hand down to brace himself and gets rolled up on, and his elbow bends the opposite way than it should, and it was gnarly. It was gross. Just as we talked about with the Niners of it all, you're really starting to feel all of the injuries to the Commanders. The difference is they're not staying afloat the same way that the Niners are. And it was just rough. But then on the flip side of that, again, Sam Darnold continues to just be absolutely surgical and the correct choice for the Seahawks. He didn't miss a single throw the entire first half of the game. It was 100% completion in the first half of this football game. Some good stuff. And again, it was a great two-man game between him and JSN. Torrey Horton signing. You got to keep an eye out for that. We're pro Torrey Horton fans here on this podcast.
We are too, yeah.
But it's what it's going to look like when you have a very bad defense and a quarterback who quite literally cannot miss. So it was just pure domination. You did not miss much when you said you did not watch this game. But tangent. I'm gonna tangent it today because it's the last game.
We're gonna double tangent this.
We'll double tangent it. This is mostly not regarded to either of these two football teams. It was a good time because the Seahawks ran it a lot. The tush push, I had seen it probably run 20 times today, the most I have ever seen it ran outside of the Eagles in a week of football. Not one time did I hear players complain about it. Not one time did I hear commentators complain about it. Not one time did I hear coaches
It can't be
complain about it.
official. Yeah, no, there wasn't like
Just no
officiating
one,
problems. Yeah.
no one, no. Well, and there at times there were, but no one complained about it. But it's
Hmm.
because the Eagles do it very, very well. And people do not like the fact that the Eagles do it very, very well. But it is always just fun to see other teams do it because the Eagles just have perfected it in a way that other teams just
Yeah.
cannot seem to get down. Like we saw Seattle do it with AJ Barner. I think it was like 3 or 4 times in this game alone. They had varying levels of success running the play. It just again, I had to sneak my Eagles in there when we were on bye week to talk
Listen,
about it. But it just
I
it's frustrating because you can't complain about it when the Eagles are doing it, but then not complain about it when other teams are doing it.
I've
And just
said
continues to
they
upset
need to troll. Like there needs to be a 4-minute
a whole
offense.
game. Just,
That not like a whole game, but like specifically one scenario in my head. Like it's 4-minute offense. We have a lead there, and it's like 2nd and 5. Do it 3 times in a row. I think you can get 5 yards on it. Like
oh
with
yeah,
the way like they spot the ball. Like I want to see it. I want to see Sirianni because he embodies the city, and that's the nicest way I'll say it without like attacking attacking character or anything like that. I like Sirianni in the way he embodies the city. But if he did that, if he like fired up the crowd in the link and they just ran it 3 times in a row on the 2nd and 5 and then 3rd and 3 and then like 4th and 1, could you imagine how hilarious that is? And
yeah.
how like imagine like I think someone would try and like jump on the field and kill Jalen Hurts right then and there. Like it would just it would
Oh, it would be
end.
bad.
But
Yeah.
overall, but back to the football of it all and talking about these two teams because of course Ben had to make it about his Eagles, dude. Oh, blah blah blah.
Uh,
But where do the Commanders go from here? I talked about this to you guys. This like was it this week or last week? I don't remember. But it was just kind of this like thought. This Commanders team has 6 picks going into 2026. 2 of them are top 100 picks. At any point this season, did it feel like the Commanders were close? No. And this is with making the moves for Debo, who's been a success. Like, Debo has been a positive gain at the value you gave up for him. Laramie
yeah.
Tunsil, Brandon Thorne, who runs a great offensive line like Substack, has called Laramie Tunsil the best offensive tackle in football this year. And you gave up a 2nd and 4th for him. And it like doesn't matter because Deron Payne has played really good football. Javon Kinlaw has been like maybe not worth his number, but he's been a
Good.
presence that is like
Yeah.
relatively good. And this team doesn't feel close with no picks and like no good young players on cheap deals. Like Sandra Still and Jaden's the obvious one. But you think about some of these starters that are coming up. Someone like I was really a big fan of last year when he played left tackle, Brandon Coleman. Like he's been relegated to like backup swing guard at this
Yeah.
point. Luke McCaffrey is a fun player, but at most he's like a down the field shot guy. They took him at pick 100 last year.
And he
So
got
like
hurt today.
yeah, I didn't even know that. But like Ben Sinnott was picked in the top 60. Like Zach Ertz is still pacing him by far. So like it's just a little like perspective look at the Commanders and like listen, Jaden Daniels covers up all our flaws, all our flaws. What happens if this injury is genuinely season ending? I saw the Mariota experience. I saw what they looked like against the Chiefs. I saw what they looked like against Atlanta, for God's sake. It wasn't close. And
No.
so I wonder if this is a team that is like, rip the Band-Aid, like rip the cord, like let's make some moves. Like let's really like, I don't know what those moves are. Also mentioning Dorrance Armstrong, like throw in another guy who I thought was performing really well. He's out for the year, but Dorrance Armstrong is a really good player. And just going on this little like talking point about the Commanders, I'm sometimes teams push the chips in the middle of the
Yes.
table because they overachieve in the postseason, thinking everything's going to go right. But the weird part is that the bets they made this offseason with those players have been fine bets. It's just everything else in-house regressed to a point, and Jaden's been in and out of the lineup. If you wanted to sit here and tell me, well, if Jaden plays all those games, they have 6 wins. Maybe not. I saw him play football and drop the football against Chicago. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to, we can't really play that game too much. But any opinion on Washington, just because they have been someone on my mind lately, because it's a fascinating way that, like, a year ago I was like, man, I love this rebuild. You're kind of just, like, tempering expectations. And now they move all these picks, and they have none. They have no avenues to cheap talent.
It's tough because it is one of those cautionary tales of, like, overachieving to the point where you've convinced yourself now is the time that we are going to buy in. This is our Super Bowl window. And again, it's tough because you're an overachieving team. You're doing well. You want to continue that. But when you're a team that was maybe overachieving but not ready for it, this is when you get yourself in the position that you're in now. And I do think it's something to say that, like, throughout the throughout the whole offseason, we all said, like, yes, go ahead, get Jaden some pieces. The issue was the defense. And they did not invest any of that buy-in to the defense. Everyone said, well, it's Dan, I almost said Dan Campbell. It's Dan Quinn. He'll figure it out on the defensive side of the football. We don't need to invest in that. Mm-hmm. Let's just continue to buy into this young quarterback. And that's what they did, and it's been fine. But again, the issue was always the defense, kind of like it was with the Bengals. The issue was always the defense, and they did not want to fix it. And again, now you find yourself in the position that you said, where you just have a whole bunch of old guys that you invested into with not really any chance to get younger guys to start filling in the roster. And again, they're, as you said, in a weird position. Do you turn around and try to say, well, we already bought in, let's continue to buy in and see if we can fix this? Or do you turn around and say, all right, this is going to be a lost season because of the injuries. Do we try to find a place to sell? Like, is someone willing to give up a 5th, 6th round pick for Marshawn Lattimore? Is someone willing to, trade something else for Debo or so on or so forth? Or Coleman, for example, because he looked good when he played, but he's not playing anymore. And see if you can find a way to get some of those picks back. So I'm interested because it really is like two sides of the spectrum, because right now in the middle, you're not going anywhere. So you have to figure out a direction on what you want to do for the rest of the season.
For the Lattimore thing, I think it's probably no.
Yes, of course.
He's under contract for 18 minutes. They could cut him they'll cut him at the end of the season. I'll just say that right now. They save like 18 mil. And that's the other thing is they're going to have, once they cut him, they have some cuts that they can make, as every team does, to save money, and they will. They'll have over 100 mil in cap space according to Over the Cap. But it's a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale when you spend in free agency, because you think about, like, I keep going back to Chicago. Chicago is like, let's microwave a defensive line. Odingbo and Grady Jarrett. We already have, like, Gervon Dexter compares to Johnny Newton, kind of. Like, we could do this thing and microwave a pass rush. And, I mean, that hasn't really worked out. Like, sometimes there's a reason those guys hit open market. No. And I just don't think you can live on, well, we got a lot of cap space to pay players, in free agency. To be the 14th best team, sure. And again, like, maybe Daniels is just that good. And he comes back and, proves us all wrong again. And he's, the 5th best quarterback, or plays like the 5th best quarterback along a season stretch next year. I don't know, but it's just a fun perspective look into a team that, how many times do we see this? Where a team just completely buys, and it doesn't work because the bets were bad. The bets have been good. That's the part that I just keep coming back to. But we spent a lot of time on that. Overall, I think kicking into the final closing thoughts, Ben, anything to take away from the rest of this weekend? It was not a sleepy Sunday this weekend in the NFL. As I mentioned, 9 of the 12 games finishing one score. But any closing thoughts on this one?
No, yes, indeed, not a sleepy Sunday. A very good week of football with a lot of close games, but games that revealed a lot of glaring holes for a lot of teams. It was a
Mhm.
perfect time for these to happen because the trade deadline is Tuesday, which, these close games set us up perfectly for what we all hope to be a very active Monday and Tuesday. Again, we always kind of talk ourselves into it, and sometimes it lives up to what we want, and sometimes it's like last year where really nothing of value happens. So I'm just excited to see what what the outlook is for Monday and Tuesday. See if there's anything crazy that goes down, any blockbusters. Seems like the Dolphins are just like fire selling everything, like everyone on their roster.
Fire the
Waddle
GM.
fired their GM. Waddle is reported to be on the
I'll
market.
say that now.
Minka,
I think the Dolphins trade at least 3 players from their roster.
which isn't crazy to say because again, you have Waddle, you have Minka, you have Bradley Chubb, you have Jalen Phillips. So there are guys that people will be calling about to hopefully make trades. So it's just going to be interesting. The other report out there too is that like the Browns are not going to be sellers and that they're going to be buyers.
That
Is
doesn't
I
surprise me. Like the Tyson Campbell move is exactly like indicative of that to me. You know
They're
what I'm
two
saying?
and six though, and do we really think like now is the time for like the reports are is like we want this to help our rebuild, blah blah blah. Like I
I'm
get
happy
that.
you said this because I was thinking about this too. Is like I think they're just trying to accumulate cheap contract. Like I think they're or the opposite. They're trying to accumulate like bad resources, like just like a Lattimore thing. Like, oh, that's a bad deal, but we could take it on. Like, yeah, give it to us. Like, we're doing nothing right now. Like, give us an asset with it, and we'll take it on and see if we can rebuild the asset. Like the Newsom
I
for
mean,
Campbell trade is exactly indicative of that. Newsom, we're not going to pay. We're not. He's been a fine player for us. We're not going to pay him. Tyson Campbell, on the other hand, has played some pretty good football. He's under contract for a few years. Like, let's reclamation project. I think that's kind of where I took it in a sense of like we're gonna buy. They're not gonna trade like a second round pick. That's what
no,
I feel like I saw some of that. Like, oh, they
I
trade the top
think
50 pick. No.
yeah, I mean I think a lot of it. I think a lot of that specific comment, like they're not going to be sellers, they're going to be buyers. I think that we're not going to be sellers is probably doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that statement. And one particular player in the we're not going to be sellers is doing the heavy lifting within that statement. I think all of that ties back to Miles Garrett and shocker, they're not trading one of the best defensive players in football away because that's what good teams do.
Yeah.
Good teams, Cowboys. I just had to sneak that shot in there. But again, yeah, just interested to see what the next 2 days consists of. With again a lot of your rumors getting floated out there. Again, we're in this weird purgatory where one team hasn't jumped out. Can a team make that move to stand out and
Yeah.
jump out above the rest? Again, Jalen Phillips to the Colts, give him a second round pick. Ooh, now we are cooking with fire. It would be
Yeah,
fantastic.
I think it'd
Like,
be fun to see who drops the elbow on on some of these guys where it's like this will factor into like kind of swinging into my point. Nobody's great. Again, another week where nobody's great. The 2 teams that I felt so confident in going into this week, each and every week, have been the Colts and the Chiefs. And today, those teams look outmatched by teams in the AFC that I have been underwhelmed by in the nicest of ways. Uh, Even if the Steelers' offense has been overachieving, the defense being able to have the performance against the Colts offense today shocked me. And
yeah,
so I think again, it's just nobody is really really good this year, and again, it just keeps the landscape of the NFL in where it is, where it's like everybody's got hope. Everybody's got a chance. Like there are how many times in Week 9 is there like genuinely like
10 teams.
24?
Yeah,
Like there's 24 fan bases that are like we can make the playoffs. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
there's 3/4 of the league that is genuinely tucking themselves in bed at night, saying like Well, we got the stretch coming up. If we could go 2-1, 3-0 in the stretch, like we got a chance. We got to win our division games, things like that. So again, it's just a fun part of why the NFL is king. The parody in it all is so phenomenal, and I'm sitting on my hands, chomping at the bit. Who is going to make that big splash move that we're talking about? Say,
Yes.
on Wednesday, saying like, all right, this is a game changer. This is a game changing player. This is a game changing team. Look at this fit. I'm just excited to break it all down, and we will be breaking it all down on Wednesday live. And before that,
But we'll see you
we'll
live
be.
tomorrow. Tomorrow, college football. We'll see you live tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Yep,
Sorry.
we will be talking the polls. All right, the polls are coming out. College football was generous to me this weekend. I appreciated that. That was a fun weekend. But
Yes.
overall, that's it for the Pigskin Project Week 9 recap. I hope you all enjoyed. This was as much fun as we've had. Again, just
Yes.
another fun week. Good to talk about a fun week, Ben. I think you can agree with me on that one. So,
Yes.
but that is all for this one. See you in the next one.